things like, yo, I love you with all my heart, if you leave me, I'll die. If you leave me, I'll die. And then they become clingy, and you almost feel like, oh, why don't you get a life, But you can feel like they struggle to let go because they have this fear of separation because their attachment is not good. They struggle to be children. Okay, so one of the other big ideas, I think there are 9 here, né? Yeah, so there are 9. So the thing about human emotions is this. There's what we call the stress response. When human beings are stressed, we do 3 things. We fight, we flight, or we freeze. Right? If you talk to evolutionary psychologists, they'll tell you it was when we were in the bush, when a lion was coming, and then you are stressed, you don't have time to think. You must either run away, you must fight, or you freeze. Like these animals when they see lights, or when they mug you. People say, oh, they were mugging me. I don't know, I just stood there, I froze. Or even people tell you, when the person was abusing me, I did not know what to do, I froze. That's a stress response. You are responding, it's a protective way. Now, what should happen is that when you grow up, when you're upset or you're stressed, your family is supposed to teach you how to have language. Are you upset? They give you an emotional vocabulary. Are you annoyed or angry or frustrated? So you learn to have those words to explain how you are feeling. Otherwise, you must have a temper tantrum because you don't know how to express the things that you're feeling, right? So, and by the age of, in the first year of life, kids already have their basic emotions: joy, anger, and fear. Sometimes it's expressed as a fear of strangers. Kids, they'll be fine with strangers, but there's a time when they don't want people to pick them up, or so that's why their emotions are already active. They say, a 2-year-old or a newborn child can tell if another child is crying in another room. I don't know if you've ever seen kids when they see each other in the streets. I don't know, when I was young, there was this show, they call it The Highlander, Duncan MacLeod. I don't know if you remember that, with the swords, they cut each other's heads. Like, ooh, that even sounds wrong. But, so this is what used to happen. These people, when they walk around, they'll meet another person who has the same sort of, I want to say spirit now, but I don't know how to call it. But like, you'll notice that this person is like you, the one you're supposed to keep. So when you're walking in public, you meet each other, then you pass each other, then you're gonna fight. It's like kids. I like going to malls. You'll see when a child sees another child, they'll walk. So kids pick up vibes from kids and stuff like that. So kids emotionally, they're already they're aware. 2 adults could be fighting, right? The child doesn't understand what they are saying. The child will be in the middle, like, but they don't understand they can pick up the tension. Even animals do it. If somebody was walking with a dog and you start shouting at the person, the dog doesn't even understand what you are saying, but it can say, I need to bite you, because you are, so emotions are something that kids pick up. With time, then, kids need to learn how to regulate their emotions, to soothe themselves. That when they cry, they need to be able to calm themselves down. So we say so there's this idea we call attachment. And maybe let me take some time here. Attachment is, there's a gentleman who came up with this concept, Bowlby. Attachment is the relationship that you have with a primary caregiver, usually the mom. We say when the child is born, for the first 6 months, so when you breastfeed them, they attach. They have a bond with somebody. And when they have a bond with someone, this is what will allow them to explore the world. Okay, like she will do. So she was there with her parents but now she's comfortable, she can go. That's what kids do. Because they have an attachment, they can explore. It's like having a passport. So I'm South African, so I can go somewhere because there's a base. So you need to have a base of attachment. And if you have a good base, you are able to attach to other people, future relationships, social relationships, at work, because you have a good attachment. The opposite also happens where when say you were born and they left you, it's because of work or whatever reason, then maybe your attachment is not a good attachment. Then it's people who as adults will say things like, yo, I love you with all my heart, if you leave me I'll die. If you leave me I'll die. And then they become clingy, and you almost feel like, oh, why don't you get a life, But you can feel like they struggle to let go because they have this fear of separation because their attachment is not good. So a person needs to have a secure attachment. Not an avoidant attachment is when you leave a child, you come back, they don't show any emotion. Or resistant attachment, you leave, you come back, your child wants nothing to do with you. Or you have a disorganized attachment, you leave, you come back, and your child only later maybe is upset with you. So then that plays itself out in relationships because the child doesn't have a good base. And what helps with good attachment is that when a child cries, you're supposed to pick them up. You're supposed to comfort them. Right? Well, were you talking about it? Yeah, you're supposed to pick them up, you're supposed to comfort them. And the reason you want to do that is that if you let a child say cry and you ignore them, so their brain learns this. If I'm in trouble, no help will come. And then, but then that's the thing, because you have the same brain we had as a child, we just developed it. Then if you have this idea in your head, if I'm in trouble, nobody will come, you become a person who can't navigate the world properly. So you'll struggle to, if you're in trouble, you can't even defend yourself or speak up because you've learned what's the point. The world is a dangerous place. Yes.
But what if you lose that attachment maybe due to work? Because I remember I had my child, and then after 6 months I went to varsity.
Yes.
So after that I got dropped aside.
Yes.
So I think I lose that attachment with her.
Yeah.
Because now she's into my grandmother's system. When I try to teach her something, she'll be like, no.
You are the sister now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you've become the sister. And that's why even when different generations parent in the house, so it's a situation with, so you're right. So what happens is, hence I said, so even teenagers, if you have a child as a teen, the mountains that you have to climb, because now, then what happens, it means is this, because you have to leave, right, because of work or whatever, but then someone else is going to become the parent. And remember, you're not the parent because when you gave birth to them, you're the parent because you respond to them. So the one who responds to the child is the parent. And so that's the one who carries weight. And that's why a lot of people were raised by their grandmothers, their mothers become sisters. They'll even call the grandmother mama, and their mom also and so. Do you understand? And then because now there's a law there, there's a parenting style, you don't have the weight to parent them, because in their minds, no, I must listen to this one. Many years back, there was a similar situation where a lady had a child staying, so she stays with her mother, but the child stays with the grandmother, the lady's mom. So the lady says to the child, don't eat sweets. And the child doesn't listen to that, because when she's gone, granny gives the sweets. So she doesn't listen to the mother because she's realized, but hey, he's the boss is this one just talks. So kids are very sensitive like that. They're able to pick up things like that. So the one who responds to the child is the parent to the child.
But now I'm struggling to connect with there because we are staying together.
Yes, because you remember, this thing had needed to grow together, and that's why it's difficult. Hence, so I made the point that the parent that's close to who has a bond is the one who's going to discipline. Because you can tell your mom, I'm disciplining you, then the backlash you'll get because you don't have the currency. You don't have enough in the emotional tank with her to tell her and to, is it a her or a him? It's a her. Yeah, because you haven't built enough, you haven't deposited enough, and that's why you'll struggle. So to resolve it, it's like you have to spend time with her and develop your own culture, develop your own way. You know what I mean? It's work, it takes time. Yeah, that's why if a child grows up in different homes, then it's because this one is going to tell them this, one tells them this. Here I can sit on the sofa, here I can't sit on the sofa. Here I need to put the dish there, here I sleep at 7, here I sleep at 12. Then the kids struggle. Hence I say, so if we want to make the babies, we must work with them, right? Because if they grow somewhere else, it's difficult. Had I finished here? Yeah. So. Okay, almost there. But we must also remember that humans are complex, right? A human being is a complex creature, and none of us are the same. And so the way you parent your one child is not the same way you parent the other child. And we say parenting it's a systems thing. You become a certain parent because you have a certain kind of child. Let's say you give birth to a compliant child. You can look like a nice parent, but it's just that you had a child who's not challenging.
Yeah.
Sometimes now you start shouting and you're very strict because now you have a child who pushes boundaries. So it's a two-way street. As you parent your children also parent you. Because they affect you. They affect where you stay, what car you drive, what you do with your budget, what food you buy. You know? So your kids change you, they literally change you. So we say there's a model for personalities. We say you have people who are like more neurotic, so they are easily upset. Maybe you have a child who just gets upset, they're emotional. You'll be saying, oh, I don't know, what's wrong with this one? That's so sensitive, so emotional, or maybe it's just their personality. Then you get people who are open to ideas. It's just a child like that. They are more creative. You get kids who are like that. Then maybe you want to force them to do something that's very strict, but maybe they are very creative. Open. They are open to experiences. Conscientiousness. People who are very diligent. There are kids who they'll tell you, we are late, we are running late. As a small child will tell you, you are running late, you are supposed to do this, you didn't do it. Very orderly. It's just how they are. Don't touch my pencils. Don't, they'll get upset with us. Very orderly. There are kids like that. And then they just have siblings who just want to create chaos. So then you must understand your child. Then you get people who are extroverts. Kids who go out and they want to meet people, but maybe you just want to lock them up. Right? We are nearly there, we are arriving, right? Or people who are agreeable. There are some controversial ideas that agreeable is just people who are compliant. There are kids who are compliant. You tell them, don't go out, and the child says, okay. Yeah, I'll just watch it. They're just agreeable. And then they generally say, okay, so the discussion is that women are more agreeable and men are more conflict prone or disagreeable. So it's nice actually even with my work. So women, I see mostly women, then if the man comes, it means the lady threatened him. You go there or else. And then men will say things like, why must I go there? Doesn't that guy have his own problems? Why must I listen to another man? But also, it's not necessarily a bad quality because that's what you need to be successful. Because in a business environment, you have to almost go against the grain. You have to ask why and be a bit, so that's why they say women in corporate, if you want to also climb the ladder, one of the things you have to learn is to be disagreeable. Okay, you're offering me this much, but let's negotiate. So but you get people who are agreeable, so you have a child like that, it's easier to parent. And then we have different forms of intelligence. So when you parent a child, then one of the things you have to think about, some people are gifted in, we call it naturalistic, so it's people who do your sciences, geography, nature things. There are people who are more musical in it. It's a form of intelligence. Kids who wake up and they sing and they dance, and so we don't say things like, "Hey, Anna, you're always making noise." We enroll them in a music class. We get them a musical instrument because you can see that, oh, my child is into this thing. Logical, mathematical, people who like numbers. And say my child is boring, you encourage that thing. People who are good with relationships, if your child is good with relationships, or your child understands themselves, intrapersonal. So another form of intelligence is people who are good with spaces. If you see those things with it, maybe your child likes games or taking apart toys. You don't beat them, you look at it, you say, what is that? Maybe my child wants to be an engineer, just tear apart things. Get them toys to tear apart and put together. Don't linguistic, people who are good with just learning languages. If you have a child like that, encourage that. Existential, well, people just understand the meaning of life, those deep questions of life. And then so as we parent, there's also a mindset thing that there's what we call a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And children, I don't know if you've ever had the experience when a child attempts to do something, they say, I can't, then they give up. It's called the child as a fixed mindset, and we have to teach them to have a growth mindset. We say you can't yet, but if you practice, you'll be able to